Welcome to Let's Talk About It with Laura Paul. Join Laura as she brings interesting guests, inspirational discussion, and a Christ-centered perspective on life. Enjoy the next hour with your host, Laura Paul.
Hi, it's Monday night, and I am so glad to see you guys on Facebook Live, and later this week we'll be on YouTube as well. And I have a special guest with me tonight, and we'll be talking. You know, we celebrated our 250th birthday of our country, both the Monday before the 4th of July and the Monday after the 4th of July. And now, for the rest of the month, I'm going to be talking to authors. And this is my very first author. And I know you're thinking, Laura, she looks too young to have ever written a book. But wait until you hear her story, and wait until you see these books. Grandparents, do not turn that dial anywhere but turn it up, or go get on your computer or your phone at praise963.com and watch on Facebook Live and see pictures of these books, and you're going to be wanting to get them on Amazon. Yes, they're on Amazon, and give them to your grandchildren. A great gift for any birthday. I'm so tickled to introduce to you Marteena Rodriguez-Drinnen, and she has written 3 books. They are The Adventures
of Tiny Tail.
And we're going to explain to you a little bit about who Tiny Tail is. So if the grandkids or children are in the room, scoot them out of the room. It's after 7. Put them to bed. And, of course, I want to thank Dan Bell for producing the program, Shelby Hicks for her work in social media, and my super supporter, and of course that's David's Abbey Carpet and Floors. They've got 3 locations: Maryville, Pigeon Forge, Oak Ridge. You can go. I suggest going and seeing it and meeting their staff. They're professionals. They know so much. They'll help you stay in your budget. More on that later, because I do want to mention now, and yet again and again and again, because I'm so excited about it, that their anniversary concert it's celebrating 53 years in business.
That's amazing.
If that doesn't say it all, I don't know what does. And they've got the inspirations, and we're going to talk about this more as well later in the show, but put it on your calendar now. It's Saturday, July the 25th, Black Oak Heights Baptist Church from 11 to 2. So put on the calendar July 25th, 11 to 2, and plan on telling your boss you need off that day, or that you need a babysitter between 11 and 2, and come on out to the great concert. It's going to be so much fun, and we'll tell you the rest of the artists appearing here in just a few minutes. But right now I want to talk to Marteena. Marteena,
yes.
You've had quite a life already.
It has been crazy.
And you are only how many years young?
31. Yes, 31.
I want you to look closely into that camera and tell everyone that you are 31.
I am 31.
And
yes.
We prayed before the show, and so I can tell you she's a wonderful Christian woman, and she is telling the truth. Oh, if I had your genes. Everybody that's looking that's over the age of 60 is going, how could we do that? So tell everyone how you met Jesus.
Oh, okay. So my walk with Jesus, I went to church in my mother's womb. That is how I first got introduced to church. My mother prayed for a child, and had a couple of complications, and she said, if I have a child, then I will dedicate him or her to you. So God blessed her with me. And then later on, a couple years later, my sister. So that was pretty cool. My mother took that very seriously. Mm-hmm. And so she put us in a program. It was through Assemblies of God. It was a program called Missionettes. And it was basically Girl Scouts, but Christian. So we had the sashes with all the badges and the camping and all of that.
And so you were a missionette.
I was a missionette, yes. And then they changed it years later to MPACT.
Okay.
So, but yes, we were the Missionettes program. And it was a great program. That's where I learned a lot of the Bible. I could quote scripture like that. I knew all the Bible stories. Yeah.
You could quote scripture, but did you remember all the addresses? I have a terrible time with the
No.
addresses.
No, terrible at the addresses, but I could tell you the Bible stories. I knew those.
You knew the word and the powers in the word.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yes.
So then what?
So I gave my life to Christ when I was very, very young, about 5 or 6. And a lot of people would say that, it's probably a little too young, but I was deep in the word. I knew something was missing. And as a child, you don't really understand how to really say it and how to express it. But
probably how to verbalize it into
yes.
the English language you're still learning.
Yes. And so I knew something inside me was missing. Mm-hmm. And so I, for a little while, tried to fill it with food. Because I was like, I'm missing something, and I just don't know what it is. Then on one of those missionette retreats, they had this cardboard cutout of a person on stage. And they tried to fill it with sports. It didn't work. They tried to fill it with magazines, with food, which got my attention. And then that's when it says the only thing that can fill it is the Bible. And then they put a Bible in there, and then they asked if anyone had that feeling. And I was that person that had that feeling. So I ran up and I accepted Christ.
At the age of
5 or 6. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But that's a good thing, because you were you're short in
yes.
stature, and just like I am, and so but you were probably putting a few pounds on.
A little bit
at that age.
A little bit. Thankfully, my parents made sure I was very active.
That's good.
So yes, I was very, very active. But yeah, it was hard. It was hard to verbalize and to understand what is this thing that I'm missing, especially when your vocabulary at such a young age is so limited.
I have a nephew that received Christ about the same age, mm-hmm. and the preacher said, "Are you sure you know what you're doing? You mm-hmm. know what you're talking about?" And I don't remember his exact words, but I think it was something like, "Pastor, if you have Jesus in you and you know you have Jesus, then don't mm-hmm. you need to be baptized and go through the process, mm-hmm. And so yeah. And then what?
So after that, I was put in Christian schools. I was raised on the Bible. I did the entire missionette program, which goes from pre-K all the way through high school. And then I started going to the seminary. So I did some seminary schooling. I did not complete it. I was originally with the Berean Institute doing their studies through Assemblies of God. I did not complete it. I went into college for psychology. I wanted to follow Dr. Dobson. And if you don't know who Dr. Dobson is...
Ben Dobson.
I believe, yes. Focus on the family.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yes. So all of that, he believed, and all of his thesis work was the reason why the world is so corrupt and cruel is because the family unit is broken. And I had experienced that with my church, within my own family. I knew that what he said was true, so I wanted to follow in his footsteps. Yeah.
Well, I think that, it became a dominant point of conversation, mm-hmm. talking about latchkey kids.
Yes.
And that they mm-hmm. were actually looking for discipline, and if they couldn't find that discipline and parenting and loyalty and rules and respect at home, mm-hmm. that's when they would get involved in gangs and go in other directions. Mm-hmm. So,
yeah. So I did that, and I got my bachelor's in psychology. And then I went through graduate school, or I tried to get into graduate school, and God kept slamming every door in my face. And I said, I don't get it. What am I supposed to be doing if not this? So I went a couple of months of just, I don't know what to do now. which was the scariest thing in the world because I was always the girl with a plan. And God said, not that one.
Marteena and I had a nice conversation when we first met because I also got my degree in psychology and I took some graduate courses and it just wasn't
It
working
wasn't
it. And actually, the way they were teaching it was, in essence, it was more people that had already been out and worked in the field for many years, and they were doing their thesis on things that they thought needed to be changed.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, I haven't been out in the field yet, so I don't really have anything to say in a thesis. And but God had a different plan.
Yes, he did.
And that's how I ended up in broadcasting. And God had a different plan for you, and that was?
Law school. So I had gone through all of my psychology courses I had taken, and any course that touched the law, I excelled in. So I said, okay, we can give law school a shot. So I'm originally from Miami, Florida, and I applied to every law school, I believe, up through Florida, up in the Carolinas, up to Ohio, and then Tennessee and Virginia. So I just kept applying until Lincoln Memorial University gave me a call. And they said, we've already had our open house, but would you be willing? And I said, where are you guys located again? Because I applied to so many. And they said, Tennessee. I said, sign me up. Because I wanted to be in Tennessee.
And why did you want to be in Tennessee? I'm always curious about that. Being an original... Like I can talk like this. I had to take classes in college to not talk. I had to learn to say I. So why did you want to be in Tennessee?
We had taken some family vacations over the years, and it was between Montana and Tennessee. Montana is way too cold. Way too cold for me. But when I came to Tennessee, it was just like I felt at home. And I had never really felt at home in Miami, and I never knew why. And I guess it was just, you don't belong here. You belong elsewhere.
And for those that are listening that are from Montana, let me just say, compared to East Tennessee and the Smoky Mountains, well, there are mountains. And then there are mountains.
Yeah.
And there's cold, and then there's cold. And if you're from Montana, we know that you know. So you go to the university, Lincoln Memorial.
Lincoln Memorial University, the Duncan School of Law campus over in Knoxville. And I went through the law program there. I met my husband there. We did not start dating till after we graduated school. We were actually studying for the bar, but we graduated during the COVID pandemic.
That was an interesting time to graduate.
It was very interesting.
Did you have any kind of ceremony?
We did a year later, but it was combined with the class of 21. And because our class was so spread out all throughout the United States, it was really just a handful of us. It was still very nice that they incorporated us. But when we left, it was in March, and it was spring break, and it was okay, guys, well, I'll see you later. I'll see you in a week. And then my family and I went down to Miami to be with family and, to hang out. And then the pandemic started, and I got one of the last flights out of Florida to come back, because if school started up again and I wasn't here, I could be removed from the program.
Wow.
So I came right back and lived here for a couple months on my own. Well, more weeks, probably weeks than months. But it was crazy because we went from, okay, guys, we'll see you in a week, to now we're all seeing each other, but online.
Right.
And it was so weird taking classes online like that.
From having been in the classroom.
And seeing everybody, and yeah.
So everything that some of us just heard about on the news, you were living. And I know that many of you are tuning in to Praise 96.3 to listen to Let's Talk About It. Tonight, my guest is Marteena Rodriguez-Drinnen, as she has written 3 books, The Adventures of Tiny Tales. It's a series, and we're going to be talking about that momentarily. Right now, we're talking about her life and her life with Jesus. And you also can see this lovely lady on praise963.com. Well, Yeah, or you can listen on praise963.com, and you can see her on Facebook under Talk About It with Laura Paul, and you can see her in all the pictures of what we talk about tonight on YouTube just a little bit later this week. Just look up Talk with Laura Paul. You'll get there.
It's not that difficult.
Just hit a search and put it in, and it's LauraPaul. And we thank you so much for listening. And the super supporter of this program, David's Abbey Carpet and Floors. All right, Marteena, when people see your face, and she looks like she's 13, and hear this story about receiving Jesus when you were 5 and going ultimately to law school, continue, and having written 3 books we're going to talk about, continue.
So we graduated during the pandemic, and then our bar was moved, so it was postponed. So after you go to law school, you're supposed to take the bar exam about 3 months later in July. So because of the pandemic and no one knew what was happening, they said, well, we're going to pause it. So now we're all sitting here going, well, now what? Which is, again, another scary part. I had gone through that once with God slamming doors in my face about psychology and going into grad school. But now I finished grad school, and now what? So it was scary. It was terrifying.
Well, I think there's 2 or 3 things going on about that. I'm going to push your mic up just a little closer. Got that nice, sweet, soft voice. One is that it gives you more time to study for the bar.
Yes.
But if you are someone that did, what do you call it while you're in school and you're working for a law firm?
Oh, like a dual. It's almost like a dual, not a dual enrollment. But you're working and you're going to school at the same time.
Exactly. And then many times that law firm is looking to take you on as one of their junior partners or participants. And so they're waiting for you to take the bar to take the job.
Yes.
And you're waiting to take the job to pay for
the bills.
Law school.
Yes.
So there's a lot going on there of the stress and strain and wondering why, God, why?
And it's exactly what had happened. So the bar gets pushed to October. So that's a couple of months. We were told about 2 weeks beforehand, hey, by the way, the bar is going to be in October. So hope you were studying, kind of thing. And you're like, great. Perfect. But other than being in an actual room with all these people, the COVID restrictions are still on. So now you have to take the bar online.
Okay.
Yeah. So, and they had certain programs in place, which understandable about cheating and all of that, so that they were worried about it.
And it's timed.
And it is timed, the whole thing. If they see you looking up and eye movement, the program would track you. So
interesting.
To see if you're scanning something, or if there's someone behind you like walking by, they time all of that. So now we have to sign up to go to like hotels. So a bunch of us are in a bunch of different hotels in a room with just our computer and telling ourselves, do not look up for anything in the world. So yeah, it was crazy. And then the shame hit when the results came out and I did not pass.
What?
The results come out and I did not pass by something like 4 points. I was 4 points away. So that was just
that was devastating, wasn't it?
Absolutely.
After everything you've been through.
I remember walking to my father with my head down and just saying, I failed you. It was horrible. And he immediately hugs me and he's like, you could never fail me.
Oh, a good father, which is a representative of our good father.
Absolutely.
That unconditional love, no matter what. And I think that's a big point to tell everybody, that just don't forget that if you have failed in life in any way, shape, form, or fashion, if you failed your parents, if you failed your husband or wife or your children, or you failed yourself in those things that you deemed that you should have done, don't have woulda, shoulda, couldas. Because Jesus loves you unconditionally. Just take this moment,
Yes.
listening to us on the radio or watching us on whatever you're watching us on, and realize that you can start all over again with your good Father, your
Yes.
best friend Jesus, and you can do it right now. This minute, you can just say, hey, I failed, just like you did to your father. And then you can get that big hug that says, I didn't go anywhere. You did. And welcome back. I'm your father. I'm your creator, the one that created you, uniquely you. And we're going to spend the rest of your life in relationship together, fulfilling the purposes I had for you to begin with. And then I'm going to bring you home for eternal life. How about that? Is that better than woulda, shoulda, couldas?
Absolutely.
And so you were struggling because 4 points from passing the bar during COVID online. If you bat an eye, they notice it and track it.
Yes.
Oh my goodness,
The
stress
stress
and
was-
struggle.
Stress was unreal. It was, I remember having my first ever panic attack.
My oldest nephew is an attorney,
Oh.
a tax attorney at a big law firm in a big place called New York City. And, let's see, now I've talked about 2. I have 3 nephews. I'm not done tonight. I don't know why this keeps coming up, but you keep hitting cylinders of life that I have experienced somewhat on the sidelines to
Right.
understand how stressful. Well, it's stressful to take a test anytime.
It is. Test anxiety is real. And then to not have the outcome you were hoping for, it was hard.
And so I've asked the grandparents and parents, aunts, uncles to listen to this program about your books, but this is a very key point that you're about to tell them, and that is what to do with that anxiety and stress.
So, basically had to pray about it because I prayed a lot. There was another test in February, which means I would have to study all through Christmas break. Or there was the next one in July. And so after much prayer, I felt more comfortable with taking in July. That way I would have a break from all of the craziness, just focus on family, pray more, and just come back to God and
Right.
of what do I do? And then I just went right back into it. I think the study time to take the July exam, I just went back, tried again.
Okay.
Yeah. And then after that, not only did I pass, thank you, God, but I could practice. I had a score that I could practice in any state.
Wow.
Yes. So
Any state.
Any state.
That was a high score.
It was very high. Yes. So I went from
And you're so humble. You're not telling, and that's good. That's good. But I love your humility.
Thank you.
You're being very humble. I had a really high score, and you're just moving on with the story, which goes to show that when you've been a failure, you never know what's around the corner. That if you just apply yourself, and sometimes application is study.
Yes.
But sometimes it's just seeking God, depending on what you're going through. And then God rewards your obedience.
A song that really helped me. I'm very musically inclined, so music really helps me. But a song during that time was Hills and Valleys by Torrin Wells.
Okay.
And what it basically says is, God, when I'm on the hilltop, on the best parts of my life, you are there. And when I'm in the valley of the lowest parts, you are there.
And sometimes he's carrying you.
Carrying, yes.
Walking beside you, walking in front of you, walking behind you.
Yes.
But sometimes he's just got
Carrying
to
you.
carry you. Isn't that beautiful? I mean, if you don't know what we're talking about, I just hope and pray we both do, that you will find a church, call this radio station, Praise 96.3, and talk to someone here and get connected so you too can know this wonderful person we call Jesus, because he's real, and he was a person here on earth, and he's our Heavenly Father. The story is real, and we wouldn't
Absolutely.
believe it if it were not real. So that's simple enough. So go ahead.
So closely after, so I passed the bar, and then shortly after, my husband proposed, which was amazing. He had actually asked my father before I took the bar, and my father said, wait until after, please. And he did. He listened. He was very respectful. We got married in 22, and then we had our little one in 24.
And that brings us 2 years
to
2 years ago. You've got a little boy.
Yes.
And
so I have my little boy, and at this point, I'll backtrack. I was practicing juvenile law, and I love juvenile law because it touches upon everything that we deal with in life. It touches upon parents, how to help them. It touches upon kids, how to help them. It's not just a one area. It's housing, it's trust, it's wills, it's anything that has to do with protecting the family, which is what I wanted to do originally under Dr. Dobson.
With your degree in psychology.
Yeah.
So you've almost come full circle in a different way, the way that God had purpose, not the way that you had purpose.
Exactly.
And it's even better and more effective.
Exactly.
How exciting.
It was so great.
When you had that realization, were you not just like,
yes.
Oh my goodness.
I talk with my husband and I say, can you believe if you would have told me in high school that I was going to be married and have a kid and be an attorney, I would have laughed in your face. I would have said, nope, you got the wrong girl. That is not me. Thank you. I love to argue, but that's in front of people, and I hate talking in front of people.
You're doing a great job of talking in front of a lot of people that are listening on the radio and be watching you on YouTube and Facebook Live later this week. So what inspired you at this point to, did you start writing right after your child was born, or what was the inspiration?
So the inspiration so my child was born in 24, and I had about 3 months of maternity leave. So I was still paying for my office space. I was still kind of keeping up with cases, but not really.
Where were you an attorney?
In Sevier County.
Okay.
So I was attorney in Sevier County, and I was kind of keeping up with cases, but I had told everyone, I can't come to court. Unless you want a screaming baby, I can't be there. And then while that was going on, my husband was also doing juvenile law and a couple of other things, but mostly out of Knox County. And so one night he is talking to me about a case, and he's going through his argument for this case. Sometimes when you're working in juvenile law, you can't choose who you're representing. Sometimes you get a child that you're representing. Sometimes it's a mom. Sometimes it's dad. Sometimes it's even a grandparent. So it's just the luck of the draw, whatever you're given. So if you are given the alleged perpetrator, they have the same constitutional rights as everybody else. So on this hand, I believe he was trying to make an argument going against the alleged perpetrator, and the details were very graphic.
Oh my.
And so he's using that within his argument, and I told him in the middle, you have to stop talking. And he's like, oh, is my argument that bad? What am I missing? I go, no. The argument is good. I just can't hear it because all I can see is my kid that's sleeping in the room next door, and I can't handle that right now. And so he goes, okay, you're supposed to be going back to work next month with these kinds of cases. What are you going to do? And I said, well, great question. I don't know. So that was another God, what do I do moment.
And that is something else. We don't get to have just one what do I do God moment. And if you did, well, call me and I want to have you on the show. But having a what do I do God moment. Again. I think my count is 3. I didn't know I was keeping score, but
this is number 3.
I'm a little older than you are, and I can't tell you how many times I've had those. So.
Oh, great. So it doesn't end, is what you're saying.
Except for those that are listening, and if you've had that moment, please call the radio station, leave your name, your number, and I'll have you on the show, because if you only had one God, what I do, and you got the answer, and you stayed with it your entire life, you've got a story. So here we are again.
So I said, okay, well, what do I do now? At this point, we were very active in our church. We were the children's ministers. And we had friends, both within the church and outside the church, who were having baby number 2.
Okay.
So baby number 1 was going through stages of regression, just not knowing where do I fit now. And of course, too young to really understand. You know, there's a new baby in the house. Where does that put me? But they can't vocalize that, right? Especially if they're 2 or 3. So you're seeing signs like your 2-year-old who was off the binky or the pacifier, whatever you want to call it, now wants to go back to the binky or the pacifier, or starts taking, you know, the blinky away from the new baby.
I don't remember what I wanted to go back to.
No?
I was about 3.5, almost, about 3.5, I guess. Let's see. I was born, we won't talk about the year I was born, but my brother and sister were born 4 years later. So I guess it was, you know, it was probably 3 and something. I think it was shy of 4 just based on the month difference. But you heard me say brother and sister. So I had double. I had twins coming in on, you know, I'd had a great life for 3.5 plus years as a single child with all mom and dad's attention.
Right.
And I honestly do not remember, but I probably wanted to go back to something like you're describing.
Regression, there's jealousy. My husband is 2 years older than his brother, but I'm 5.5 to 6 years older than my sister. So I remember certain things, but not, I remember more than he does. So I do remember when my sister was born, my father said, he looked down at her and he said, "Oh, my little angel." And that hurt because I was daddy's little angel. So like it terrified me as a kid.
So this happens with children.
It does.
A lot frequently.
It's very natural.
And they made a big deal that the twins were bringing me one of those little pedal fire engines. You know, you push the pedals.
Yes.
There's not one single picture of me on that fire engine. There's oodles of pictures of the twins all over that fire engine.
Yeah.
So mine's not an angel story. It's a fire. It's a fire engine. But I get your point.
Yeah. So, and I saw 2 other families going through this too. And I said, you know, I've done some writing. I can't sleep because, you know, baby's going to be up in an hour. So I'm just going to make a little short story. So I made a short story and I showed it to my husband because it was going to be something to just send over. And he goes, you know, with some editing, this might be good. And I said, thank you so much for that backhanded compliment. I loved it. But it was true. With some editing, it actually worked. And he said, this could be a story. And I said, I don't know how to make a book. I've written stories. I've always loved to write, but I've never written a book. Like I can't draw. I don't know what to do with this.
So you needed an illustrator. You needed a publicist. You are
just the whole list of things.
And you're not exactly, I mean, as an attorney, you're not exactly in that niche of people that do those things. So how did you find all those helpers?
So I called. Well, I prayed so much because I was like, I'm not going to jump into something and it's, you know, a waste of time and money, and especially since I'm not going back to work now. So what do I do? Well, thank you, Instagram, because a lady by the name of Casey Burke of the Buckaroo Bow series, which is another really good series for kids. It's more of a rodeo and cowboys. It's very cute. Buckaroo Bow.
Buckaroo Bow. Okay.
Yes, it's very cute. The whole family is in the rodeo. So they love horses. They work on farms. It's very, very cute. She was holding a workshop, a one-on-one online workshop to help people do self-publishing through Amazon. And so I spoke with her. I sent her what I had drafted, and she called me like immediately. And she says, I want to help you. This is good. It still needs editing, but it's good. I see what you have here.
God has even purposed you on nights when you can't do anything but stay awake because the baby's awake, to at least have one hand on the baby and one hand with a writing utensil.
Yes. So it was crazy. So we get to talking, and we go through the editing, and she shows me step by step, how do I do this on Amazon? What do I do over here? And then when it was finally said and done, we needed an illustrator, and we could not find one forever. We went about 4 or 5 months without an illustrator, because every time I looked, either it was AI generated, which Amazon will flag and kick you off for.
So do not use AI generated illustrations. Amazon will kick you out.
Yes. If they find out, they can kick you out.
Okay.
Yes. So I said, okay, well, I see some people are saying it's their work, but I can tell it's not. There was a few that were gorgeous pictures. They wanted like 10 grand up front. I do not have 10 grand up front.
Not with a new, not with a new baby, and still paying off law school. I'm sure
law school and bills,
new marriage, and all of that.
Yeah, all of it. So don't have that. So pray again. God, don't know what you want from me, but this is what I wanted, and I wanted something that had like a Bernstein Bear kind of feel. That like small, homey, very beautiful, like beautiful illustrations, but something that was also nostalgic.
Okay.
And something that parents and grandparents could trust.
Yeah.
So the Casey Burke, she gets a hold of her illustrator who had just finished classes teaching her illustrators. So we go through all of them and we find one from Georgia.
One of her students.
And so I said, okay, let's give it a shot.
Which gave that student an opportunity to make a name.
Yes. So that student's name was Anna, and I cannot pronounce her last name. I will butcher it, but Orgaveldiz.
Hand me that book, because now we get to show everyone the first book, The Adventures of Tiny Tail, and it says, always room for more. This is so, so cute. Can you see this? You have a little fox, a daddy fox, baby fox.
Kind of a baby fox. He's a little mix, because it's a father fox, mother otter, and then a little mix called Tiny Tail.
And on the back it says, Tiny Tail has a new babysitter on the way and isn't sure that there will be enough love to go around once the new baby arrives. Just what we were talking about. Will Mother Otter and Father Fox be able to assure him that love among parents and children is infinite, and there will always be plenty for both him and his siblings? Follow along as the family works through the challenges young children sometimes feel when a new sibling is on the way. What an adorable and I'm not going to just show the whole book, because we want people to buy the book, but I'm just going to open. I have no idea what's going on here, but the illustration is so beautiful. The writing
she did amazing.
Is gorgeous, and I just want you to see the big pages with things for people to look at. The children will be mesmerized, because it's things you've got, like tomato garden or something on the back. It's things that children can identify with at all ages, and it's a beautiful book, and the storyline is gorgeous. And look at these
that's
tears.
one of my favorite.
Look at the tears on when you see this. If you're listening on the radio and you get to see this on the page on Facebook, go to Let's Talk About It with Laura Paul, and Talk About It with Laura Paul on YouTube. And then you'll get to see these pictures. Well, that's book number 1. That's the subject matter of book number 1. And then you can get this on Amazon.
Yes.
And it's already out there. And before we tell you about book 2 and 3, a trio of books, right? Let me tell you about a trio of generations of family. And that is David's Abbey Carpet and Floors, celebrating 53 years in business. And I don't want you to miss this, so I'm going to hold this up as well so you can see this beautiful flyer that's talking about their anniversary concert. Can you see that? Anniversary concert. And who are the pictures of? Well, I can see Jonathan Wilburn in there. I see Tommy Spencer. I see the inspirations. and Brian Free and Assurance and Last Mile Road. It's at Black Oak Heights Baptist Church, 405 Black Oak Drive in Knoxville, Tennessee, 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. No tickets required. It is Saturday, July the 25th. It is going to be a fabulous, fabulous concert celebrating 53 years in business, and it is a way of saying thank you, East Tennessee, from everyone at David's Abbey Carpet and Floors. And a special shout out to the guy that started it all, and that's a father, too, named David Hayes. Hi, David. And thank you all, the entire family. I could just name them all right now. They're just wonderful, as super supporters of this program. Go find out. I've got their flooring in my home. I have experienced it myself. I'm telling you personally, you need to find out why this business is different and how they do business differently, because they care about their customers, and the service that they give you is, I'm just going to say it's different. You go find out why by going to one of the 3 locations, Maryville, Pigeon Forge, and in Knoxville. So back to the story of the Tiny Tales, and let's talk about how book number 2 came about.
So books number 2 and 3 were written shortly after book number 1 was, because we were still waiting for an illustrator. So I just kept writing. And book number 2 is kind of what we're dealing with right now. It has to do with bedtime blues.
Oh.
So Tiny Tail had this wonderful day with Father Fox, but he is fighting sleep, and no one can understand why.
And I can't understand. He's holding a really cute teddy bear.
Yeah.
Is that a teddy bear, or is that a real bear in the story?
It's a teddy bear.
Okay, with the Tiny Tail. And look at all the pictures, the family pictures about.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to read the back. Is that okay?
Yeah, absolutely.
And it's so cute on the back, too. I've never seen backs of books be this cute. Tiny Tail's Adventures Day with Father Fox has come to an end, but he worries what tomorrow will hold. Will Mother Otter be able to assure him that he will never have to face tomorrow alone? That sounds like an adult story.
Mm-hmm.
It sounds like just everything we have been talking about of what's next, Jesus, and then going to talk to Jesus, our good Father. So follow along as this family works through the challenges young children sometimes feel when facing the unknown. Well, we as adults also face the unknown.
Yes.
So I'm going to suggest everyone get these books because, it warms the heart. And it's a good story and a good reminder for all of us, regardless of your age. And it's on Amazon. But that's book number 2.
That is book number 2. Yes.
All right. You're listening to Praise 96.3. My guest is Marteena Rodriguez-Drinnen. She is from Sevier County now, originally from Florida. Didn't know what she was going to do after she got her psychology degree and thought she was going to continue in that field. God had another plan. Yes. He took her to law school and took her to Lincoln Memorial. Mm-hmm. And that's how she ended up becoming at this point, a Tennessean,
yes,
and an attorney, and she's an attorney in Sevierville. And part of her story was not passing the bar the first time, and God had a plan.
Yes, always does.
And then she passed it with flying colors, and then some. And thought that was, and so was working with kids anyway, just like she had planned to in psychology.
Yes.
And met her husband in law school. And they both work with kids as what kind of attorneys?
We were juvenile attorneys. So he's still a juvenile attorney. Yes.
But then those nights during maternity leave, when she's supposed to go back to work, God has her writing these books. And she had never been published. And so those were other doors that she had to walk through. And so be sure, if you're just tuning in at this point, go back and listen to the story later this week on Facebook or on Facebook Live or on YouTube. And you can hear the early part of the story, and you can understand why we as adults can very much relate to those multiple times of what next, God, what next. So tell me about book number 2. Without totally giving it away.
So in book number 2, This one was more geared towards kids who, when the world is quiet, so they can be energized and excited all day, but when the world is quiet, that is when the fears start seeping in. Not necessarily fears of anything that happened that day, just, well, what is tomorrow going to have? Because today was fun. I was looking forward to all this today. But tomorrow, like in this case, Father Fox is not going to be with him tomorrow. So now he's scared of, well, what does that mean? Where is he going? What do I do? But they can't vocalize that yet. So all he's saying is, well, I just want to stay up. So it's with these books.
He doesn't want that day to end.
Exactly.
Because he has security in what has happened.
Yes.
And not security in what's going to happen. That's why these books are written for children. But I don't know. I'm following along as an adult, and looking back on the seasons of my life, and I am completely wanting to buy these books myself.
Oh, thank you.
So go ahead.
So this one, the second book, the way that these books were written, I'll put it this way. The reason these books were written was to help establish the connection within the family unit. Working in juvenile law, a lot of the issues that kids face is the lack of communication with parents. So what seems really, really big to a kid is nothing to a parent sometimes. Not because we don't care, but because, okay, so you didn't get, ice cream today. What's the big deal? We'll get it tomorrow. Right. Well, in that kid's head, that ice cream was like the highlight of their day for whatever reason. Maybe they just had a bad day. Whatever it was, it's those little things that sometimes get missed. So the point of the books is to help solidify that. Another thing I really wanted to put in these books is when I was looking for books for my little one, I didn't find a lot that had to do with dads in the home. I remembered Berenstain Bears. You had Papa Bear, and I remember Little Bear, also with Papa Bear and Mama Bear. But when it came to more modern books, I didn't really see a lot of parents. I see a lot of moms. There's a lot of books about moms being with their kids, but not of dads. And I said, I can't write a book and not include a father in it. Even if it's for kids, which I experience, I understand the broken homes. A lot of fathers are not in the homes for whatever reason. So who do these kids look up to?
So you're saying that Goldilocks. All right. Now, everybody that's listening that is my age knows exactly Goldilocks and the three bears, Mom and Pop and Baby Bear. That was not the norm, or is not the norm.
Is not the norm now. And so who do these kids have to look up to? And without a father figure in the home, which is something that I'm very much preaching about, because there's no father in the home, the kids, the gangs attract kids who are looking for families.
Right. We talked about that just a little bit.
A little bit ago. Gangs look for those kinds of kids.
And they are starting younger and younger and younger. Do not think that they are not.
Yes.
I know for a fact middle school, because I had someone on the show that talked about getting involved in middle school. We're talking, middle school's 5th grade.
Yes.
And now you've got a 5th grader, and you've got his little brother is in elementary school, and he wants to be just like his brother or his sister, and they want to live up to what they're doing and be cool like they are. So this really is. You thought we were talking about kiddie books, and this is really more of a reality program on 3 books that apply to, I've said adults, but all ages, and are really addressing some difficult problems that you see as an attorney working with juveniles and what they're coming in to court for.
And especially the cycle. Because if you didn't grow up with a father, how do you know how to be a father?
And how do you know what God the Father, the love of Jesus as a that whole concept?
Yeah, it goes out the window completely if you don't understand it. Francis Chan wrote a book called Crazy Love, and that's what he always talks about. He understood in theory God's a good father. Okay, well, I didn't have one, so what does that mean? So it was stuff like that. So that's what I really try to promote in the books is it's just the traditional family unit, a mom, a dad, a kid, and try to bring that back to the norm.
And show what that could look like, so that that child could grow up and desire to have a family that was the family of yore. Well, and of course, there's many families like that out there now.
Yes.
But there's also a lot of latchkey kids still. That I think that's a term that they still use.
They still use it.
And so it applies in so many different ways. But I think it also, do you think that through these books and these stories that these kids understand what a good and loving father is, and so they now can understand about Jesus?
I think it introduces a blueprint. I specifically made sure that these didn't outright say Christian books. Now, if you look at the bio on the back, it shows that, yes, I am also a minister. It says it, plain and simple. I am not ashamed of that. But I'm using these books to go into the public schools. Get them interested. Okay, well, what is this? Maybe look into my bio. Maybe see where I came from. Maybe it gets them interested into looking, well, who is God then?
So, you said you're a minister. I think you're a gardener, and you're planting a lot of seeds.
Trying to.
And you're trying to get into areas to plant seeds that used to be in a wide open field, and now they're kind of shut down.
Yes.
So how are you doing with that so far? Has any school started?
I've been inside a few schools.
Wonderful.
Mostly up in Johnson City, Elizabethton area. I've been into the libraries. So we do book readings and arts and crafts with the kids in the libraries. And I dress up as Mother Otter. And my husband can make it on the weekends. And he dresses as Father Fox. He's got 2 little fox ears and a tail.
So you're a missionary. You're going all the way to the Tri-Cities.
Yes,
and everybody knows I'm originally from Kingsport, and I grew up in Kingsport.
Okay.
So, you are right there, Johnson City, Elizabethton. And for those of you that don't know, you probably have heard of the Bristol Raceway. And so that's the Tri-Cities, Bristol, Johnson City, and Kingsport. And so you're going up there and being Mother Fox and your husband. This is great.
Thank you. We have a ton of fun. We love, my husband's very sciencey. I was not very sciencey growing up. I could do the biology stuff, but I don't do science very well, but he does. So there's a lot of science experiments that we do with the kids that he teaches me and then I teach them.
That's wonderful. And so you're literally taking the family and the idea of the family, and then there are families that exist, but they don't have the same values that your books are teaching.
Yes.
Which are Christian values without screaming Christian all over it, so that they will be received. What a great, but it says you're a Christian.
It does.
And you don't hide that at all. And when you are out in places talking to everyone, and it's in your bio, and so you are doing just exactly what God has you to do. The whole story tonight has been leading to this point and leading to book number 3.
And book number 3, so there is one actually being written as official book number 3, but this right here is an activity book that goes between books 1 and 2. So it's kind of supplemental activities for the kiddos.
Oh, look, it's activity book that has the little guy painting, doing an activity, and gardening on the back.
Yes.
So, activities. I'm going to flip in here and just see what I see. Oh, they can learn to count numbers. They can spot the difference, which is in some of the tests, getting when they go to school. But, these are good exercises for everyone to keep your mind sharp.
Yes.
You've got to go to the garden to plant the seeds, but I'm going to show this one.
Yeah.
Look at the maze you've got to go through to get to the garden. Now, that is not a mind bender. And, everybody's doing these things like Wordle and I think this is a great book for anyone. I know I keep saying that, but what items do Tiny Tail and Father Fox need to go fishing? And it's a picture of them by the lake, and there's oodles of things around them, but what do they need to go fishing? It is a great activity book that fits between books 1 and 2, but I am seeing it as a, now you know I'm a fashionista, and there is Design an Outfit for Baby Belle.
That's the baby's name, is Baby Belle.
And there's just a little outfit, and you can design it any way you want to.
Mm-hmm.
And if you are a 70-year-old fashionista, go get your colored pencils and colored pens, forget the crayons, and then try to stay in the lines. Oh, this is just such a pleasure having you
on the
program.
Having me.
And Marteena, what is next?
So what's next? We are working on our very own website, so that we could sell books through the website instead of through Amazon, but I think we will always be on Amazon. Official book 3 was actually written right after the events of Hurricane Helen. So in that story, Tiny Tail really wanted to go on a trip with Dad, but things happened, and they need some volunteers, Tennessee, to stand up and go help this family in need that was affected by a natural disaster. So it's how to write that kind of book without, number one, scaring kids, because you don't want to scare the children.
Right.
But number two, really understand, okay, well, what does it mean to be a volunteer? What does it mean to help someone when I want to go do something else? So that's the next book that is going to be on its way.
God has just really using you to do what you're doing, and I hope everyone will go out on Amazon and get the Adventures of the Tiny Tail series, book 1, book 2, the activity book for you, for your grandchildren, and I hope that you'll join me next week. Thank you for being with me.
Thank you.
We're going to do a follow-up later on.
Okay.
And when you have I don't know, big book number 12 and 14, I can't wait to see what God does with this and does in your life. And if you would like her to come to you, how can they contact you? Is it in the book?
We actually have our phone number is 865-280-3338.
We'll put that up later, 865-280-3338. You can contact her and have her come talk to your group of children at Sunday school class,
whatever you need,
at school, wherever it's allowed. And next week on Let's Talk About It, my author is going to be talking about a book bundle that's also on Amazon, and it's The Unexpected Journey. It's about wanting a baby so badly and going through the struggle of not being able to have natural birth, and then ultimately having 2 more through natural birth, having grown children, and then God put something else on their heart, and the story is just amazing because God put it on her heart separately. They had not been talking about, she and her husband, and he had put it on his heart separately.
Oh, okay.
So when they finally realize that each other are thinking the same thing. And it's called Meant to Be, The Unexpected Journey that changed their family forever. And the author is Misty Wright.
Okay. I'm going to have to pick up me a book.
So don't forget, Marteena Rodriguez-Drinnen, and they can probably find you under Drinnen or Tiny Tails.
Yeah.
Go looking for Tiny Tails on Amazon, Meant to Be. Tonight, talk to Jesus. He's your best friend. Get to know him if you don't already. And tomorrow, go out and talk about Jesus. Everyone have a great week. This is Author Month for the rest of the month. We'll see you next Monday night on the radio.
We hope you've enjoyed Let's Talk About It with Laura Paul. Join us next Monday night at 7 for more stimulating conversation. Let's Talk About It with Laura Paul on Your Praise 96.3.